So I think a good starting place, it took me like 3 years of slowly chipping away at these things. I didn't just overnight say, okay, I am not on Facebook, I'm not on Twitter, I'm meditating 8 hours a day. That is not the answer.
No.
It was just, I would like to read for half an hour a day, and how can I cut out a bit of Facebook scrolling for that? And one way was using Facebook Newsfeed Eradicator, which is a very helpful plugin I recommend everybody use. It just takes away the newsfeed part of Facebook. So you can still see your notifications, you can still search people, you can still see events. You just don't have the endless scroll. And that makes such a big difference that sometimes you log into Facebook and you just say, oh, there's nothing here. Let me click out and go do something else instead of scrolling for an hour. So that's a really good one.
Exactly. And that's a relatively older tool. And I think that is more important now than ever, because a lot of the arguments that I hear why people keep their Facebook, it's like, oh, I need to keep in touch with people, or, send messages to my friends abroad. You can do that and you don't have to read like political news from your distant relatives.
Right.
It's very easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things, I also write a newsletter, and if people join, I have this list of similar things to Facebook newsfeed, where it's how do you stay a part of these programs or services that do have benefits to life in 2019, but how do you kind of take the most addicting features of them away so they don't control you, but you control how you interact with them?
Right. It's really just a power shift. Right now, I'm a huge fan and kind of disciple of Freedom, the app, freedom.to. It's
Yeah, I love
saved
that one too.
so much of my time recently. Yeah. So, Kyla, how has this journey of slowly weaning yourself off of digital, or at least incorporating it into your life in a healthier way, how has that impacted your life? Like personally, has it been tough? Has it been all positive? What's going on?
Unfortunately, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's definitely days where I think, I wish I could, see this on Facebook or just do some mindless scrolling to relax. But I know that that's not an important value to me. So I think overall a net positive. It sounds kind of dramatic, but I really feel like I can feel that my brain is different. I used to work in online news, and I would help do the Twitter feed, and I worked on the breaking news desk. So my 8 hours at work was that constant cycle of what's happening on Twitter, what's happening on the police scanner. I'm writing this, I'm talking to you, I'm doing 1,000 things at once and getting that dopamine rush of new things, posting, comments constantly. So that's also what I spent my free time doing, was constantly being on Twitter or reading news. It felt just kind of a bit empty at the end of the day. And now that I take a slower approach to life, I try to read mostly books, not online news or articles or status updates. I try to write without the internet on for a few hours a day, since that's my passion. I try to go for walks without listening to podcasts and just be in my thoughts, which is still hard sometimes.
Yeah. Legitimately a scary prospect for me.
Yeah, it can be scary, but I really just feel like I can think more, and I do still get the itch to check things, but definitely not constantly.
Yeah. I think that's so important. The idea of being able to think more deeply, perhaps think better, or at least in a more healthy way. What I've personally recognized in my own experience is I can delete social media and I will replace that with podcasts. I can stop listening to podcasts and I will replace that with whatever the next distracting thing could possibly be. And until I break that cycle, I will just find something to distract me, because my brain is just looking for dopamine hits of distraction.
Right. And in some ways, reading is still not like the end all be all, because I'll have days where I'm trying to write my book and I'm having a really frustrating way of trying to figure out the plot or whatever is just not working that day. And I will go and read a book for a few hours. And that's still, I'm distracting myself from thinking about writing my own book by reading. So it's all just levels of how are you avoiding what you actually want to do?
Yes. Very Stephen Pressfield of you.
Yes. Yeah. Another one of my favorite writers for sure.
Yeah. So just really quick for our listeners, Stephen Pressfield, he's most famous, I would say, for The War of Art, but especially coining the term the resistance, which is essentially whatever stops us from doing what we want to do. Is that more or less accurate in your opinion?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Cool. I just know there's going to be a lot of inside baseball in this episode, so we might have to explain a couple of things.